What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this very quick conversation about Monique and Chris Samuels leaving Love and Marriage DC. So, Love and Marriage DC was set to premiere January 2023. Now, it came out yesterday, or maybe the day before yesterday. News broke that both Monique and Chris will not be returning to Love and Marriage DC. Now, there wasn't any clear, concise reason as far as why they're not returning, but we can all speculate that it had a lot to do with the failing of their marriage. Even though they claim that things are better than ever, even though they're living in separate homes, things are better than ever, they're in counseling, and things are going great, and that they are not headed to divorce. I find that very hard to believe. I think that Monique, for whatever reason, is trying to put up this front that her marriage has not failed. And I could be wrong. I mean, they could be thriving. I don't know. But from what I saw on Love and Marriage DC, even from what I saw on The Real Housewives of Potomac, there were some definite cracks in her relationship with Chris. On Love and Marriage DC, we got more than enough of them struggling. Monique blames it on editing. She says that she was edited in a way that made her look like a really ungrateful, nagging wife. I can't believe that a seasoned veteran reality TV star will use editing as an excuse of how she came across and why she came across in such a negative way. But I mean, when we're watching you nag and berate and criticize your husband, I don't know how that can be blamed on editing, unless you want to say that they did not edit in enough scenes where you were not nagging and berating and criticizing your husband. Maybe that's what you meant. But from what we saw, you were clearly acting as if that man irked the hell out of you. You were not satisfied with anything that he was doing to try to improve the marriage. She would give him several tasks to do, and he would do them, and then she would complain that he wasn't doing them fast enough. So, and Chris himself is not at fault. I thought there were times when Chris was a little bit rude to his wife, and I felt like he could have controlled himself a little bit better. In particular, the scene where they were all having dinner, Chris and Monique had invited all the couples to their home, and they were all having dinner, and Chris was telling a story. He was saying something, and Monique had interrupted him, and he got upset, and he told her to shut up. I don't think there should ever be a moment when a husband tells their wife in public, in front of anybody, whether it's on television or just in front of whoever. There should never be a time when a husband tells his wife to shut up. I think that's just extremely rude. But anyway, so, Chris was at fault as well. There were moments where he definitely could have done better. Now, when it broke a few months ago that they were separated, and, Ashley Darby seemed like she was confirming the news that Monique and Chris had separated, and then Monique came in a hurry and with a quickness. She came on whatever platform that she was on saying that no, we aren't separated. I don't know why Ashley would say that. I don't know what Ashley's talking about. She's a really good friend of mine, but I don't know what she's talking about and why she would say that about us, but we're still together. We're just working on our marriage. And then it came out that they were living in separate homes, and then she comes back on her platform and says, we have several homes, and we just made the decision through our counseling that it's best for us to spend a couple of nights apart. That to me doesn't make any sense. And like Judge Judy always said, if it don't make sense, it ain't true. So the fact that when she said we live in separate homes a couple of nights a week, I don't believe that. I think that it's more than a couple of nights a week. You know how somebody who's been, who gets stopped by the police because, they've been caught drinking and driving or driving under the influence, and the police will ask them, well, how much have you drunk tonight? And they'll say, oh, a couple of beers. Yeah, I don't think that they have been separate, that they sleep in separate homes I think these people are separated. Most likely, in my personal opinion, I think they're headed for a divorce, which is fine. It's okay. A lot of people get a divorce. But I don't know if Monique was just hung up on portraying this perfection. because on the Real Housewives of Potomac, I think one of her strong suits was that she was the one that was married to a former NFL football player, and now he was a successful businessman, and so that was something that she kind of wore as a badge of honor. My husband, former NFL player, my husband makes all this money. He's wealthy. Maybe that's why she's so reluctant to admit that her marriage is failing. And also, this is just my own personal opinion. When those rumors came out that she was being unfaithful to her husband with her trainer or whoever, when Charisse had let it out the bag that, Monique had confided in her because they were friends, that she was, messing around on Chris, I kind of felt like where there was smoke, there was fire. I'm not going to say 100% I believe that she was cheating on Chris, but I think if you're going to do the math, more likely than not, the probability was probably leaning more so that maybe she was unfaithful to her husband. Men do it all the damn time. I don't know why it's like hard to believe that a woman can cheat on her husband. Men do it all the time. And Monique seemed like the kind of person, like in whatever journey that she was on, this spiritual, health wise type of mental enlightenment, soul searching type of journey that she was on, she probably just, outgrew Chris and they were just going in separate directions. The woman that he married was not the woman that she eventually became. And so, they just had separate interests, whatever. And he was really trying to keep up with her, with her new Zen lifestyle. He was really trying to keep up with all of that, but it just wasn't good enough for her. And I think that she probably thought one day, instead of me trying to make him the man that I want him to be, because I've changed, why not just get a man who's already there? I don't know. So they're not going to be returning. We're still going to have DJ Quick and Ashley, and we're still going to have Jamie and Irena Taylor. Now, are they enough with possibly a third couple to hold this show together? I have no idea. Only time will tell. I don't think that you need a well-known person or well-known couple to make the show work, because Love and Marriage Huntsville did not have a celebrity couple or a really well-known couple, and that show took off. So, but are these couples enough to make it work? I have no idea. We'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, I just can't believe that Monique would blame bad editing. That's something that a rookie would do when they see themselves for the very first time on a reality TV show and they didn't like how they were portrayed. They would blame it on the editing. Also, Monique to me had changed. I don't know if she had changed a lot or we just got to know her better on Love and Marriage DC, but I liked her a lot on The Real Housewives of Potomac because I liked how she stood up against the Green Eyed Bandits, Giselle and Robin, and she didn't care. And the fight that she had with Candace, obviously that was not a good look. Absolutely not. An adult getting into a tussle, a physical tussle with another adult, it just doesn't make any sense. But it is what it is. So she ended up leaving that show. She had sworn off reality TV. Carlos King begged her to come back on Love and Marriage DC. It seemed like he was handing her a show on a silver platter because it appeared like he liked her that much. He really, really liked her and he really wanted her to continue on reality TV. But she quit filming. She and Chris are not a part of season 2, and she blames the editing. She says that because she didn't really connect with the fans, or she had she didn't appear in her best light. The fans really didn't take to her on Love and Marriage DC. She blames the editing, which in turn is blaming Carlos, because I'm assuming Carlos is green lights whatever we end up seeing. And so if she was blaming the editing, in a way blaming Carlos, and doesn't that say something about her friendship with Carlos? Because it seems like if Carlos wanted her so badly to be on this show and center the show around her and Chris, because her and Chris were like the anchors. They're like the anchor couple of Love and Marriage DC, like Melody and Martell were like the anchor couple of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If Carlos had seeked her out and had begged her to come on this show and, was promising her the moon and stars to be on this show, why would he make her look bad? I don't think he did. I don't think it's the editing. I think it was just Monique didn't like how she came across and doesn't want to take accountability for how she came across. The fact that you really did look like a complaining, nagging wife. You really, truly did. And so it is what it is, Monique. I mean, you could have just been like, you know what, we'll just do better. Because you're going through all of this therapy, all of this counseling. You and Chris have been in counseling since I don't know when. Wouldn't you want to show the progress of the counseling and the therapy sessions to show that, hey, we have improved, we're back, newer and better, stronger than ever? Wouldn't you want us to see that? But because you and Chris are going to be not featured anymore, I'm assuming counseling didn't go that great. Or maybe this was the solution. Maybe this is what the doctor ordered, for y'all to stay the hell away from reality TV. Maybe that's what y'all needed to do to keep your marriage together. But if y'all living in separate homes, I don't know. I just don't know about that. But then again, it might work for some people to live separately, because on Married at First Sight, one of the experts, Dr. Pepper, says her and her husband live in separate homes, but I think it's because of work. They live in separate homes, and she says her marriage is great. I think it does work for a lot of people to live separately. But I think when you take Monique and Chris and everything else that's been going on with them, the fact that they're living in separate homes is just another red flag. I don't think it's to improve anything, but we shall see. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me in this very quick conversation. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Porsha. She and Simon Guobadia got married. They got hitched. I'm happy for them. If this is what they wanted, hey, all we can do is just be happy for them. But I will say this, and I have to speak my mind. I never saw any kind of real chemistry between Porsha and Simon. I really, really didn't. They always seemed like they were just, I don't know, like they were just getting to know each other, or that they were still in the very, very, very early stages of their relationship. I never saw that deep, like, love or chemistry or attraction or romance between them. I mean, I definitely saw it between her and what was his name? The father of her child. What was his name? Anyways, I definitely saw it between her and her ex. I did not see it between her and Simon at all. But congratulations, girl. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later.